Hello, and good morning still. Alice here with another interview, another installment of our Empowered Motherhood interview series, Facebook Live. Today we're here with Kelly Majoch, who is a specialist in essential oils, so we're going to be talking about that in just a minute. I want to make sure that everybody has time to join us. Please ask any questions if you have. We will try to take time at the end, or as you're posting them actually, we will be trying to answer them. If you're not catching us at the live interview, definitely ask questions afterwards. You can either email Kelly, we'll post all her information in the comments under the video, and you can also reach her at her email, and we'll tell you all of this later on. So I'm super excited because fall is here for sure. There's no escape at this point, and we're certainly all starting to get to a point where we are starting to feel the effect of the cold weather. I think that our immunity is suffering. Our children are sniffling, everybody's sneezing, head colds. So we thought this might be a really great opportunity to talk about an alternative to the kind of traditional way of keeping yourself and your family healthy, and that's essential oils. I have to admit, I am not an expert in any way, so this is really exciting and really kind of informative for me too. So I'm looking forward to exploring a lot today with Kelly, but let's go and introduce Kelly to you guys. Kelly's somebody that is really, really special to me. We've known each other for a long time. We work together. Kelly is one of the women behind Whole Mother Village. She's part of our doula group here, and she's doing a bunch of other things with us, wears a lot of hats. So I'll have you talk about that in a minute. But you know, she is definitely somebody that brings a really kind of incredible mindfulness into my life and my craziness. So I think that, you know, sharing what you know and just kind of having your perspective and your advice is going to be really amazing for everybody. So how about a few words to begin before we get to talk really about the essential oils and everything?
Sure. I think I'm still finding my professional role in that whole thing after exactly after motherhood. So I do really identify myself as a mother of three, first of all, and I'm also a birth doula. I love encapsulating placentas for my clients and teaching them prenatal yoga and infant massage. So I really like to be with very close with the pregnant moms, and after they give birth with their babies. That's where I find myself really comfortable with. Mm-hmm. And definitely essential oils has been a big part of my life, and so I love to share what I know, the little that I know, because I feel like there's so much information about essential oils.
Right. And I mean, yeah, I have to admit, you know, I'm kind of ignorant when it comes to essential oils. I have grown up in a society where the emphasis of the healing power of food and herbs has been just, you know, part of my growing up. I grew up picking herbs, drying them, making tinctures, you know, making certain kinds of soups when, you know, somebody's sick. But essential oils has just never been, you know, part of that. So I am absolutely dying to learn more about that. And I see we have Jennifer. Hello, hello. So glad to have you with us. So, Kelly, I would absolutely love to know how you got to essential oils. Like, what's, you know, where did it, when and how did it come into your life?
My whole path into like a more holistic life, it started with my yoga teacher training. Mm-hmm. So at the time I was taking a lot of yoga classes, and I found my prenatal teacher training, which then led to my doula training and etc. But I was in this path of like finding ways to support the body and help the body does what it do. Mm-hmm. You know, it do what it does, or
It's whatever. Yeah.
yes.
Typical for two foreign speakers trying to figure out.
And then I came across essential oils. So it came from one of the yoga studios that I used to go to, and I went to this meeting, and then I just started playing with them, and I just loved it, and I just went on from there and never looked back.
So did it start from like a very sensual kind of like the smell kind of place where you just kind of started noticing how, different kind of smells affect your, state of mind or health like that? Just being in a yoga studio, I'm assuming you probably were exposed to that. So was that part of the...
Yes. And also like learning a little bit more about each essential oil and their properties and how they can help my body to naturally heal. I was always like very interested. I do believe in our immune system, just like your body will heal itself.
Right, it's part of us, right?
Yes, exactly. And I believe there is, but you do have to give your body the right tools to heal itself. And I was always like not very into like pharmaceuticals and like trying to stay away from drugs. So it came from a curiosity of like, how can I use this natural modality to help my body heal itself when I need to.
Okay.
And yes, the aromatics definitely plays a role because like some things it smells good and like why am I attracted to this and not to that? But I feel like with essential oils is a little more than aromatics. Sometimes it's an oil that it's repulsive to you that is going to help you in the healing.
Interesting.
And sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, so it's not necessarily always the smell aspect of it. Right. But it's the healing properties.
That's the property of
of the oil.
That's wonderful. Oh my gosh, I love it. Super exciting to learn more, and this is incredible. But let's move on into what are essential oils in general, assuming that we have viewers here that are like me, just don't know a lot. So, when you say an essential oil, like what are we referring to? What is the process?
Yes. First of all, like I think there is a boom of essential oils in the market nowadays. So everyone is making their own brand. And I think it's important to mention that not every essential oil is made the same. Okay. Like when you're looking for an essential oil, you're gonna look for something that's not hold a lot of syntheticals, that it's distilled in the right form, so you can keep all those therapeutical properties. So the essential oils that I'm going to be talking about today is 100% therapeutical grade. The company that I work with has worked really hard in developing a certification that it's a certified therapeutical grade essential oil. And the essential oil basically uses either the leaves, the flowers, or the barks of a plant to make this very potent, concentrated. It's not really an oil, but it's like this juice, this very healing juice that comes from either the roots or the bark or the flowers or the leaves of a plant. And for instance, 1 drop of peppermint essential oils is the equivalent of 28 cups of tea. Wow. So it's like, so there is a lot that it goes into.
Super powerful.
It's super powerful. So like one of the things that we're going to be talking about is like with essential oils, a little goes a long way. You know what I mean? Like you're not looking like to kind of like bathe yourself with it, but it's just like it has so much potency in a very, very little amount of it.
No, so why do we call it essential oils? If it's not an oil, does it get mixed with some oil or?
No, because in the process of taking like taking this juice,
essence of whatever
essence,
it is, right?
What is left is actually a form of oil. Okay. Like that's where the healing property happens, and that's why it's an essential oil. Yes, but it's important to say that it's like something that doesn't have a fragrance. It's something that is 100% natural that comes only from the plant. The plant, yes.
Now you were talking about the different companies that create oils. You can buy them on the shelf in Whole Foods, lots of even I think supermarkets, beauty stores. Does maybe do the plants kind of play a role in the quality of the oils? Where the plants are coming from, whether they're organic.
Definitely. And what happens is, so there is different views on that subject as with everything. But doTERRA, which is the company that I work with, believes that the best healing plants is gonna come from their place of origin. So they're gonna travel into what is that native plant's place of growth, and they're gonna harvest that plant in there to
in
take
its own real habitat or whatever it is, right?
Because in their own habitat, that plant has the soil, the nutrients, the things that it needs to grow to its full potency. It's not to say that if it grows somewhere else, it's not going to be a similar plant, but they do believe that there is a more wholeness that comes with going to their place.
I was just going to say, what an incredible kind of concept, because that's really what everything is about, right? Like we need to take it, whether it's our lives or plants or, healing, like it has to be taken in its own kind of real original place. So taking plants that, grow in its own space where they are supposed to be, they're not transplanted, they're not tweaked, they're not genetically modified or anything like that. I mean, you're then really getting the real powerful thing.
Definitely.
Wonderful.
Definitely. Yes. And then also, like if the plant is in their natural habitat, the plant is not going to need the pesticides or the chemicals to grow to its full potency. So that's going to be a cleaner and more potent plant.
Wonderful. Oh my gosh. It's just right there. Like I think that's just kind of incredibly interesting, and the power of plants is, I think, indisputable if we talk about it. So let's take this and let's talk about the cold season, right? Because that's what we're here for. Hi, it's your name. Thanks for joining us. So this is the time. I have 3 kids, you have 3 kids. We know that this is like the real struggle, right? To keep everybody from getting sick, keep them all at school as long as possible without any interruptions to our work. So I would love to talk about 2 different things. And so one is going to be the prevention. So how can we prevent getting sick? And then next I would like to talk about a little bit, I have already gotten sick. I'm sniffling, I'm coughing, I have a fever. Now, how do I kind of treat the symptoms? How do I make the sickness or the illness to just kind of like go away faster? So let's talk about the prevention first. So, how can we boost our immune system?
Yes, and I think, again, it's like, I think a lot about the wholeness, right? So I think there is a bunch of different aspects that helps us to keep our immune systems at, working.
At its maximum, right?
Exactly. And one of the things that my kids know, like at the cold and flu season, I'm going to be the sugar police, because like it's well known that sugar lowers your immunity. You know what I mean? Like just like a little bit of sugar can,
There goes Halloween and all the candy, right? As you're just getting into the fall season.
We even talk about that. Like how many kids that are sent out of school after
Throw
Halloween?
that candy away, mamas.
We have a candy fairy that comes and takes all the candy the day after Halloween. You know what I mean? Like,
love it.
The night of Halloween. So my kids get to pick their candies. They pick 1 candy each the day of Halloween, and then the candy fairy comes that night and takes all the candy away and leaves something for them. Sometimes it leaves a couple of bucks, or it leaves, like this year it left them board games.
That's wonderful.
And
I love it.
and then they associate the happiness of Halloween and without the candy. But it's
we don't
so
need that.
I do think there is different aspects, and of course we are moving into the soup season. So like Alice and I were talking about like cooking for our families.
Right.
So like all those broths, what I mean, like can be really healing to the immune system and can help the immune system working with at its maximum. But if you walk into my house, you definitely will smell the essential
Something.
oils going on. One of
I
my
can attest to that. It smells delicious in Kelly's house all the time.
and even in the studio, like when I come to the studio, you know, like I will always have an essential oil going on. So one of my favorites for boosting the immune systems is a blend of essential oils. It's called On Guard, and in the On Guard, it has wild orange, clove bud, cinnamon, eucalyptus, rosemary. And it's funny, if you stop to pay attention, it's usually the smells of the season. Like
totally,
it's like you know what I mean. Like it's what
holiday.
you're baking with. It's what you know what I mean. Like it's the pine trees outside. It's you know what I mean. Like, and interesting enough, it's what helps to keep your immune system. So one of our routines, aside from diffusing the oil in my house, which is, you know, we can talk about like the many different ways that we can use essential oil, right? We can use the aromatics like diffusing or just whipping the bottle, just like Alice did. We can use topically, like by applying on your body. You can use as a steam, you know, like and I will talk about a little bit of each way of use as I go through the essential oils. But the On Guard, when the day after Halloween, again, you know, like everyone ate all that sugar, that your immune system is needing a boost. So I pass a drop of On Guard essential oil on my kids on the bottom of their feet.
On their feet?
And I put their sock on and I send them to school like that.
Now, do you put it directly on their skin? Do you kind of dilute it with something else? Because I know, I mean, the little I know about essential oils, that some of them actually could be very strong, even, you know, for like a direct topical use, right?
Definitely. So I will, for first time use, I will dilute 1 drop of essential oil with 3 drops of like either olive oil or almond oil or coconut oil, whatever you have at home. So you can dilute and put in the bottom of their feet.
Just so it doesn't hurt, right? Because they're like there's almost like a burning sensation, right?
Exactly.
When you put it directly on your skin.
They don't have any reaction to it. The other thing, and I forgot because my On Guard is on my kids' bedroom, they have like a roll-on bottle that already comes.
It's already diluted. That's wonderful.
So like sometimes if you don't want to do the drop, you can just roll on the bottom of their feet. And the bottom of their feet is one of the best places to put, just because it's far away from the face, so they are not necessarily like smelling. It has a lot of pores, so it can really enter your bloodstream, but it's also the thick skin. So if you have any reaction to an oil, you will be able to tell, and it's not, you know what I mean, like, and it's gonna be the safest place to put it. So if you're trying an oil, like the next oil that we're gonna talk about, it's a very hot oil. It's considered a very hot oil. So you would try on the bottom of your feet before anything. Yes.
I know that I have tried peppermint essential oil for headaches, and by accident or just by not knowing, you know, I have kind of like rubbed it around my nose, and it was definitely like, oh my gosh, like I had to go and wash it off because it really was burning. It was a super strong burning sensation.
Yeah, so that's a good thing that you said. I had to go and wash it off, because what happens with an essential oil, if you get too much of it, the water is gonna make it, the sensation
even worse.
Yes, it's gonna allow it to penetrate in your skin. So what you should do if you get too much of an essential oil is to pass oil. So to get olive oil or
coconut oil,
because then you're gonna dilute that oil, and then it's gonna be easier to remove from your skin.
Okay. Well, that's a great tip. So if you're having any kind of reaction, right, or anything like that, so removing with another kind of oil.
Yes.
Would
so
be
you would
the best.
take another carrier oil to get it off.
Well, didn't know that, and definitely had my nose burned a little bit. That's
So even and peppermint is a typical one, like that. It gives you that sting sensation. So yes, so definitely putting another oil is helpful.
All right, wonderful. What else?
So the other thing that I use for the immune system is oregano. So when your kids are smelling like pizza,
I'll take it.
but I do that a lot. And oregano it's one of those oils that doesn't necessarily has the most pleasant smell, but it's a very powerful immune booster. I think right now a lot of people are talking about taking oregano capsules, even for the flu. So and we're gonna talk about like research and essential oils a little bit, but because I cannot say that essential oils do remediate,
right?
But oregano is really known.
It is known, yes,
to help as an immune booster.
Yes.
So, and if you think like you can add oregano, the herb, to a lot of your cooking at this time of the year, and that's going to be helpful. But again, why the essential oil? Because of the potency,
right?
Because
the concentration,
exactly
of
the
power
concentration. That's what makes it really powerful. So I like the roll-on bottle again for the oregano, just because I can pass.
So again, the same thing. You would roll it on the bottom of their feet.
If you know someone in your house has the flu, you can diffuse oregano on your house, and then I'm looking for the other bottle for the little bottle of oregano, and you can diffuse to help, because it's a well-known antiviral and antibacterial. So it is gonna help like that virus not spread throughout your house.
Kind of like, yeah.
Exactly, keep it at bay. But to prevent, I really like using. I do not do it every day because I feel like too much of anything is not a good thing. But if there are signs that you see, like, oh, my child is really coming down with something, or is the day after Halloween and I know my immune system is not, or it's that turn this weekend, like the temperature is gonna drop. So you see that there are things.
You're vulnerable. It's coming.
They are taxing your immune system. You know what I mean? Like, because the more your immune system has to deal with, the less is going to work in your advantage. The less is going to be able to fight the virus and the bacteria. So, so definitely, when you see there is a change in season, or a change in your eating habits, or there is a very stressful situation, like I know a lot of kids get sick at the times that there is a lot of tests coming up.
Right.
Or
between like stress that kind of
exactly, or right after, because they were so stressed out about it that like right after. So I would use at those times.
Okay. Would you do once a day, just like in the morning, or just at night?
You can do at night and in the morning. So you do at night before they go to sleep, because when the body rests is when the body heals.
Right.
And you could do in the morning, so when they out in the world, they are also protected. So you can definitely do twice a day. My other thing to prevent, and I didn't talk the age of my kids, but I have a 7.5-year-old, a 4-year-old, and I have a 15-month-old. Yes. So one of the things is keeping, like I have 2 kids at school that comes back,
surrounded.
we know like little kids are the germs collectors, right? So when they come back home, first of all, the first thing is like, I go wash your hands. If you go in my bathroom, I actually do have an on-guard hand wash, like the soap.
Wonderful.
That,
Did you make it?
You can make it. The one that I have, it's from doTERRA.
Okay.
But you can definitely make it. If you have the on-guard at your house, you get castile soap, put a few drops, and put it in a pump in the bathroom. So there you go. You already have,
By the way, we are periodically hosting here workshops where we are using essential oils for different, usually seasonal problems that we're solving. So allergies, cold season. So we're going to be having one soon. So check in our calendar, as we're going to be preparing a workshop that you can come in, you can learn more about essential oils, and actually bring some remedies and some tools home. So Kelly's going to be teaching, so that's coming up.
Yes, and I'm also going to be here at the holiday shopping event.
Correct.
On the 15th, I'm going to be here with the essential oils, and we're going to be doing DIY activity with making your own blend. So please, if you come to the shopping event, stop by my table and take away a roll-on bottle for yourself that you can use for either whatever you need.
Right, whatever the problem that we have, because I think that that's the other thing is, right, some people, some members of my family really kind of struggle with the flu. I have never had the flu in my whole life, so I have no idea, I can't really relate. But I know for me, when I get sick, it goes into my throat, it goes into my chest, so everybody kind of has the opportunity to use something that is actually specifically kind of catered, right? Like different things, different oils will target different parts of our body or different kind of colds or illnesses.
And that's the beauty also to have a one-on-one consultation with an essential oil advocate, because that's where you get to talk about the things, like, oh, my kids, like my kids are like congestion, you know what I mean? Like since they were little, is the respiratory issues that happens every fall, winter season, you know what I mean? Like, so I have always dealt with that and have all my essential oils at a bay for that. And with different kids is different.
Right, exactly.
Issues.
Everybody is different. Do we have anything else here?
So the other one that I wanted to talk about is the lemon. Lemon is also antiviral, antibacterial. It has a lot of astringent properties and is also a known disinfectant.
Okay.
Yes, so I use a lot lemon in my cleaning products. The one thing that you have to be careful is not to pass lemon in your skin and go out in the sun, because it's how does it call it? Photosensitive. Okay. So you can get your skin burned. There are a couple of essential oils that are photosensitive. But I do use for my cleaning products. So I don't buy a lot of chemicals in my house. I don't like anything with a fragrance, all this synthetic stuff. So if I'm cleaning my kitchen countertops, I do a mixture that is like part vinegar, part water, and a few drops of lemon essential oil. I spray my countertops, so this way I get all the
bacteria,
all the germs away.
And it smells probably delicious too, right?
Exactly. I do that for my toilet bowl. I do that for my sink, and you know what I mean. Like, and I make like a different version of that concoction for different places. In the house. So lemon is the go-to for that, and as a side effect, it's also like a mood booster. So you know what I mean. Like, so you get like. Happy while cleaning.
I'll take it. If I get happy while I'm cleaning, I'm totally going for it.
That's a nice side effect, I guess.
I know. Yeah, I don't usually get happy when I'm cleaning, so I'll take it.
Yes. What else? So then going, you said that we were going to.
So this is our kind of, so we had oregano, on guard, lemon.
Yes, for the
boosting the immune system, right?
Yes.
Okay, so those were those three.
Yes.
So this is preventing us. This is creating our shield to shield us from all different kinds of viruses, but nothing's perfect, so. It didn't do its job entirely, so now we're sick. So what can we do? Let's talk specifically, right? So what are the specific kind of colds and problems that we have health-wise, right?
You were telling me, like, every time I get sick, it's my throat and my chest.
My respiratory system.
So what do you usually do for that? How do you treat yourself?
Okay, so my go-to is always hot tea with lemon and honey.
Okay.
That's what
awesome. Yes.
That's what I would do, and that's how I'm going to kind of keep myself. I also know that a peppermint, sometimes I would kind of do like I think peppermint rub with like my mom used to make this kind of a little peppermint balm, which I'm not even sure what she put into it, to be honest. But the kind of the freshness of the was always kind of helping me to breathe. So that would be what The honey lemon would be what I would go for usually. So
yes, and sometimes if you don't have lemons, or if you like to make that honey and lemon a little more potent, you can put like a drop of lemon and essential oil on your.
Okay, so you can ingest them too.
So yes, doTERRA has the oils, and the oils are labeled to let you know that supplemental facts.
Okay.
Some of the oils you are able to ingest. Again, oils are really potent. So, you know, like as I mentioned before, like 1 drop of peppermint has 28 cups of tea. So you don't want to be ingesting them, you know, like you don't want to be drinking 28 cups of tea every, you know what I mean, like on a daily basis. But if there is a purpose, if there is a healing that needs to happen, so you can maximize that. And I think that's where it enters the essential oils.
Okay.
You know, like I feel like the same way that you wouldn't take an antibiotic every day for your whole, you know, like for the whole cold and flu season, you wouldn't use the essential oils that same way. So it's with caution. So for the throat and the chest, one of the oils that I really like is the tea tree oil, Melaleuca. And Melaleuca, you can do like a gargle. One of the things that I really like to do for throats is gargle. So you can put like water, you know, like a lukewarm water with a bit of salt. You can put apple cider vinegar and a drop of Melaleuca.
Now that we're talking about this has been a staple of my home when I was growing up. And you're right, my mom used to always give me a glass of water with tea tree oil. It is tea tree oil, right?
Yes, tea tree, yes.
Oh my gosh, so never actually clicked to me that this is actually one of the essential oils. And I mean, that has been something that we've had in my home, you know, since I was growing up. So wonderful. Oh,
yes. And as a side effect, if you're gargling in it, tea tree oil is also well known to fight oral bacteria. So it helps your oral health as well.
Wonderful.
Like if you have any, I know you're talking about cold and flu, but if you have, you know, like every oil that I have in a kit, I use for so many different things. And I think that's the great thing. Like I wouldn't hate to buy something that is just like sitting on the side of my house because I have enough stuff, believe me. So I try to use and maximize the use of every essential oil. If I can use for 10 different things,
great.
I think it's great. You know, so you can use that for a mouth gargle. You can also use that to help expectorate. So how you would use that, you can do a steam bath. So you can boil water, put it in a safe table, in a container, put a few drops of tea tree oil and throw a towel on top over and kind of like just do
inhalation.
Yes, that's steam. If you have a good bathroom that you can just steam the bathroom, turn on the shower, drop a few drops inside the shower, and let it exactly. Because yes, it helps open the respiratory, you know, like bronchus and kind of like clean.
Allows for whatever
clean up.
It's like.
Yes, and it's also an antibacterial. So if there is anything going on there, it's definitely
going to help it. Help to fight it. Wonderful.
The other thing that I use for the respiratory is Breathe. And Breathe, I have like so many different versions of it because it's definitely, and you're gonna see my bottle is like empty. Because I use it every day. So my kids right now, if you go into my house, everyone is congested and kind of like
it smells delicious,
coughing. So Breathe is a blend, and it has eucalyptus, peppermint, it has tea tree in it, it has lemon and cardamom and ravinsara and ravinsara. And because it's a blend, so you get a little bit of each oil, and it is also already diluted in coconut oil. Okay. And this way you can apply either to the sole of your kid's feet. If I'm passing in the chest, I'm ever gonna dilute it again. So even if the oil is already diluted, if I'm passing too close to a face, especially if it's a child, I'm gonna dilute that in at least a tablespoon of oil, and that also helps you massage. It helps penetrate the skin, and
you want to stay safe, and just really, especially if it's a baby, right?
Yes. And so like I massage the chest. I also massage the lungs in the back, and kind of like tap. I do like a tapping technique that you tap the back, the sides of the lungs to help expectorate. And again, you can use the roll-on as well. So sometimes if I have like a very congested nose, I use the roll-on on myself, and you know, like even on my wrists, or I put in my palms and just kind of like smell to
breathe in.
Help. Yes, to help open up. The other very potent cold fighting essential oil is frankincense. Frankincense has again a lot of the healing properties that are in the essential oils, like antiviral, antibacterial, and yeah.
That's an interesting.
Yes, it's not a scent that I love, actually, but
it works.
There are people that come to me and says, I want a bottle of frankincense. I just love that. The smell is so subjective, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is not my favorite.
Yes, but it's well known to have cold fighting properties. Again, you can use in many different ways. You can make yourself a bath. Sometimes with getting rid of a newness is allowing your body to rest, allowing your body, giving your body the the right conditions to rest smart. So drawing yourself a bath with like Epsom salt, which is known to remove like the toxins from your body, and a few drops of frankincense, and just soak in and let your body absorb the goodness of it. Or make yourself a hot compress. You know, like, and put, like with a towel, like just get a towel wet, put it in the microwave, and then, like a few drops of frankincense, and put it either in your forehead or in your
sinuses, possibly.
You can put it, yes, you can apply it to your sinuses.
Yeah, like, that's a huge one, right? So
sinus
for sinuses,
is definitely the plague of my house. We are neti potting like 24/7 at this time of the year because to avoid getting that, but and also using the essential oils for it. So definitely.
So would you add essential oils to the nose ring neti-potting, right? I think it's called. I mean, that would be.
You could. I wouldn't do with a child, and I would do in moderation. Exactly. Yes. Because it can be very strong, like to
and
go.
I think your nasal passages are so extremely sensitive.
Yes.
Too, right?
But what I would do is I would wash the nasal passages and then massage the sinuses before and after with the essential oil.
With the essential oil.
Like do a hot compress on your sinuses.
Just loosen it up.
Loosen it up, and then do the neti pot. And I feel like that it's definitely
that kind of combination, that process of just loosening up, warming up everything, rinsing it off, and then following up again with like a massage.
Exactly. Yes.
Sounds wonderful.
Yes, definitely. I think.
Yeah, my husband definitely is a sinus infection sufferer, so I will definitely try that.
Yes. Then we have peppermint. Peppermint alone can go a long way. So if I always say, and we'll have a few kits in here for the holiday shopping, again, that comes with like peppermint, lemon, and lavender, because those three can do like wonders. Like if you if you want to start using essential oils,
that was my question. Yeah,
just get those three, and you can you can already do a lot with them. So peppermint, as you said, help expectorate. So if you wanna just like do a massage in the chest with peppermint, but also what I've used peppermint a lot, and is to reduce temperatures. Like if someone is running really, really hot and uncomfortable, I usually don't medicate because I do feel the immune system is trying to get rid of something. But if the person is very comfortable, it's hard to watch too.
Right.
And believe me, if you are a mom of 3, to be up the whole night, it's a very high price.
Right, exactly.
So I do peppermint on the sole of their feet if there is a very uncomfortable temperature going on.
Right, if you're starting to see that, the baby's getting like lethargic. I know growing up, we have been using compresses to kind of alleviate very high fevers, right? Is it something that you can do with essential oils, or is there like a protocol that, maybe for the peppermint?
Definitely. You can get a towel, and you can get a towel with like almost like coldish, not very cold,
not
but
freezing.
you know what I mean, like not freezing cold, but colder water, and put peppermint oil on that towel and wrap the feet.
Okay.
With the towel, and that really helps to bring
down temperature.
Wonderful. And again, with that said, you really wanted the temperature to run its course.
It's doing something, right?
Just so the body can kill everything that is trying to invade, because that's usually what the body is trying to do smartly. But if there is a point that is like very uncomfortable,
or it's getting dangerous. I mean, there are certain temperature points where
So then you can try that, and believe me, it's like works, and it works very quickly. That's what I'm always amazed about essential oils, is how quickly it works. Because I have tried other modalities of natural remedies, and sometimes you have to administer that like over and over again through the course of many hours to start seeing a result. And with essential oils, usually like it's
very quick.
And then you're like, oh my god.
And that's what you want, right?
Was that the essential oil? And in the beginning you doubt yourself.
Yeah, a baby that's crying in the middle of the night because they're not feeling comfortable, you want it to work pronto, immediately, as quickly as possible. Have we gone through most of them, or do we have more?
I think we've gone through most of them. I do have more. I know, like with Thanksgiving coming, even Halloween, like digestion problems, and it's not to the cold and flu, but sometimes you can feel like the
change of season. I mean, we're going from eating light, right, to eating heavier foods, which our body needs, but our digestive system often really kind of reacts to that.
Exactly, or even like the nausea that comes with like many different illnesses. So there is an oil that is called Digest Zen. There's also like a blend of essential oils, and it has like fennel in it, it has cardamom, it has peppermint, and it really helps you with that feeling of like, oh, I'm so like
bloating, maybe even
exactly, and I can't move. And if you want to just like a good night of sleep, like I'm feeling restless, and and that doesn't help the immune system. The immune system really needs to sleep,
good
rest.
Sleep pattern, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's important.
So then a few drops of lavender, either in the diffuser, in your pillow, or like if you don't want to put directly on your pillow because like you're sensitive to smell, just put in a little cloth near you. This way, if you get tired of the smell, you can like always take it away. So lavender is my go-to sleep medicine.
Wonderful. Oh my gosh, amazing stuff. There were a couple of things that actually jumped at me as we were talking. The first one is you were talking about trying to really get the bang, right? Like that just not have a bottle that you're using for one thing, but just kind of learn the versatility of the oils and being able to kind of use them for different things. I'm also thinking that there is a kind of like expiration, right? So you want to buy an oil that you use when it's at its best, right? So after you open your bottle of essential oils, how long is that oil at its peak? And it's
they don't, as long as you keep them in a cool place. They come in this amber, bottles, which really protects the essence. And they come in these small bottles that you're gonna use one drop at a time. But if you're making good use of them, you can stay with them for a year. You know what I mean? Like before you start
losing its effectiveness.
Yes. But they do last. A long time.
Okay, so that's wonderful. So a couple more questions. We have been talking in general about like keeping our families healthy. We do a lot of work at Whole Mother Village with pregnant women, and also with we work a lot with women with little babies. So what about effectiveness and safety when it comes to pregnancy, and then maybe newborns and little babies? I mean, are essential oils something that is safe for a pregnant woman to use? No worries about the effects on the baby. And then when it comes to the very new little babies, thus the fact that their immunity is kind of developing as they are kind of, going through the first months of their lives, is it safe, or do we use the different ways of really breastfeeding, keeping our babies, as safe through that? But that's not also, an option for everybody, right? So can we use essential oils for little babies?
So research-wise, there is more and more research upcoming that is proving the effectiveness. Oh my gosh, I can't say.
Effectiveness, yes.
Yes, of essential oils and the safety. And I believe like we're gonna be hearing more and more and more of those researches coming out, but they are not FDA approved.
Okay.
So you can't say like this oil can be used for this or this and that, because there is no, they are not regulated by by FDA, and there is not enough data. I would not recommend to use an essential oil with a baby younger than 6 months.
Probably for that particular reason, right? Because their immune system is not developed yet.
Topically, I wouldn't put that oil in that baby, but you can use aromatically. You can diffuse that oil in the air, and that babies respond so quickly to things because their immune systems are developing and their body is so responsive. They don't have all the toxins and stress and everything that we acquired in the, along our lives. You can use aromatically, but I wouldn't use topically. During pregnancy, there is, like there is back and forth. And again, you would talk with your healthcare provider about, before using an essential oil. I have used throughout my pregnancies with a lot of success. And a lot of healthcare providers are going to be really okay with the use of essential oils. It's completely natural. There is, but there are chemical,
effects. I'm sure that there could be effects that kind of could go negatively, when it comes to pregnancy, which could be good for a normal, non-pregnant human being, right? But in pregnancy, it maybe.
There are some specific essential oils that you are told specifically to avoid during pregnancy, that it can cause, like a premature birth, or, so there are specific essential oils that will come with that full disclosure. The essential oils that I usually recommend for pregnant women, so far, it's very effective and safe.
I'm already kind of thinking about all these other topics that we can explore with essential oils. So we'll definitely be back for more talking about essential oils for different phases of lives, and I can't wait to do that. I have a couple more things for you.
Sure.
So the first one, and we've already started talking about this, is if we're talking to moms that are already exploring essential oils, we're preaching to the choir, hopefully adding some additional value. Now, let's imagine we've got a few moms out there that are at the point where they're exploring, is this something I want to get engaged? Do I want to look into this more? Do we have any kind of data to convince the skeptics or the complete, novices to using essential oils? Is there anything that can convince somebody that this is the right way to go? I know this is a tricky question, right?
It is a tricky question, especially for me. As Alice mentioned, I'm a really mindful person, And I believe like in really tuning in into your intuition and kind of like asking yourself if that's the right thing for you. But with that said, there are researches. There are some. I can even link the researches on our comments that talks about the chemical properties on specific essential oils, and you're not going to have in all of them, but you're going to have in specific ones, and what does it do to the body, and how they've been used for centuries, you know, and how they've been used to extinguish some very, very popular illnesses that were back in the days.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. So there are researches that the people that needs the data in order
and
to
there are some that's true.
Oh, definitely. In order to grab on to a new concept that's not so new, but you know, like new to them. So there is researches that we can list in the comments. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I hope there is more upcoming research because as with everything, you know, like you and I are doulas, there are, you know what I mean, like very limited on research on things that are natural for women during birth and postpartum because no one is, you know, interested.
And I think the reason why, you know, the need for research and for data is because we have kind of really separated ourselves from that kind of traditional way of doing things that, you know, did not have an explanation, but it's been something that has been working and it's been effective for centuries. You know, from my perspective, you know, going into the woods and picking out linden flowers and making tea in the winter, you know, because my mom told me and her mom told her and, you know, her mom told her. So, you know, we have kind of lost, I think, in our nowadays modern times, we have lost a little bit of touch with the kind of the instinctual, the traditional ways. And we know that, you know, the modern medicine is based in, you know, herbs and plants. So, you know, there definitely is a relationship and we know that it works. But for many people out there, you know, my husband being one of them, I love having conversation about things like this with him because he's very cerebral. You know, he needs data, so he's always looking for something that's going to convince him because he kind of, you know, thinks in a very different kind of way than I do. So we have a kind of fun family in our house, fun relationship. I think that, you know, there is no really harm in exploring, right? So if you're interested, you know, give it a try. Kelly's gonna be here next Thursday with her table full of these yummy goodies, and you can try to make something for yourself, see how that works, and you know, you can see if that is something that is worth exploring. I mean, I personally feel that, you know, that's always my first stop to try to see what I can do before I reach for, you know, the traditional medicine. See if I can, you know, talk to my mom, you know, pick up on some of the vibes of my grandmothers and figure out some other way that I can try to either treat or boost the immune system or prevent things before you know, I reach for the traditional medicine. Last thing, because we have been chatting for almost an hour, which is pretty crazy.
My gosh.
What is kind of one thing that we would like for moms watching to take away from this? If there's one thing that you would recommend that they absolutely need to have, because that's going to get them from, you know, through this cold season. I know that there is not one fits all, right? But if there was one oil that you would think, like, this is the best one to start with, this is the one that you need to like put into your pocketbook and just like carry it with you everywhere, which one would it be?
That's a hard question. You're asking for someone who owns like hundreds of essential oils, and yes, but I do think you would have to kind of like look into your particular situation. You know what I mean? Like, and what's your needs? You know what I mean? Like, so sometimes when I meet with a client, we are talking about like, what is it that you are working on and what is it that you're hoping to achieve? You know, so I feel like that question would be crucial. With that said, I do think, as I mentioned before, if you have like the kit with like the lemon, peppermint and lavender, that can go a long way. You know what I mean? Like there's so much that you can do with those 3 essential oils. And you can get them, you know what I mean? Like they're not very expensive oils, and you can get really a very good use of the 3 of them.
So 3.
Yes.
Not 1.
Yes. That's the minimum I can give it to you, because I can go on and on and on and give you many different ideas.
And then you have a bucket full of different oils.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. But always, when I'm talking about essential oils, I'm hoping that people are gonna purchase them not because it's a trend or not because it's just something that I think it's nice to have. It's because I'm gonna find a really good use for them. You know, like I keep recycling my essential oils and keep every month I have essential oils coming in, but I'm always using them, and I'm using them throughout the day for different, you know, purposes.
That's wonderful, Kelly. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here with me today. This was wonderful. I hope you guys got a lot of wonderful information. We're going to post Kelly's email and her website and her contact information as well. Keep asking questions, even if you see, if you're watching this in a replay. So we'll keep answering your questions. If anybody has any, please throw them out at us quickly now so we can answer them. Otherwise, we will be back talking about more other things. Check our website, wholemothervillage.com, for upcoming workshops, because we do really want to give you tools that help you to just take care of your family and explore different options that you have around you that are more mindful, that are more natural, and that are equally effective as and less harmful, actually. Let's not forget about that. Definitely. So thank you so much for watching us, joining us today. We'll be back with another interview next week, and have a wonderful day.